Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. So, music news starts us off. Let's go. Music news. We have no follow-ups, no corrections. We have a couple of pieces of new music. Actually, one that we're very excited about. And that we're actually going to start with Filter is our first new release this week. Filter just released a song called For the Beaten. It's coming off of a new record that is coming out sometime in 2023. No release date, no name, just a 2023 is when you're going to get this record. This song, For the Beaten, is almost what I wanted out of new Filter. I don't think we will ever get exactly what I'm expecting out of a Filter song, just because Richard Patrick's voice isn't quite what it used to be. Sad to say, but it is the truth. Still great. Still, like, the production on this is amazing. And you would expect that from guys who all met working for Trent Reznor, right? That is kind of their stock and trade, is fantastic production, because that's what Nine Inch Nails is, and that's where they got their start. At the very least, it's where they met. So, yeah, super dig this track, even though the vocals and even some of the lyrics are a little lacking. Either way, still a good payoff. Go check out the new Filter. Next is a band that I've kind of been aware of for some time, but never actually really listened to, and that is Traitors. The name of the track is New World Order, New, N-U, as in new metal. This is apparently what new metal has morphed into, kind of a new deathcore metal thing. Yeah, so very interesting. It's like 3 minutes long, so it's kind of a short track, especially in the metal world. And it's like a 3-minute long breakdown. There's different sections of the breakdown, but basically feels like 3 minutes worth of breakdown and some DJ scratches. Can't say it's a bad thing. Kind of dug it. Really was nodding my head along to this one. So it's just a new territory for me. So I don't know exactly how I feel about this whole new metal mixed with deathcore combination. It's not bad. It's just new. Go check it out. And then we're talking Morbicon. This is a band that features members of Municipal Waste and Fintroll. They have a new record called Of Mournful Twilight. The name of this song is Death Thirst. This is 1990s death metal, come back around, which to be fair, kind of is what Fintroll and Municipal Waste are for different genres, but circa roughly that same era. So this is just a bunch of kids doing old school music the way they know how and the way they grew up listening to it, and I can get behind that. Vocal delivery, the death metal vocals just don't generally do a whole lot for me. This is no exception to that. By and large, production's pretty solid. The performance is pretty solid. If you like death metal, there's no reason you won't like this. Go check this one out for sure. And then my final piece of new music for this episode is one that I honestly should have put on. I saw that this was a thing 3 weeks ago. I was unable to listen to this song in that amount of time. This is a band, and normally I try and do these so I can cut them into shorts and put them up on the Clips channel, but we're going to spend some time with this because the band is Botch. Botch is significant because they influenced some of the best tech death and like hardcore and melodic hardcore, melodic metal, I can't even remember. Converge. So Converge, Dillinger Escape Plan, bands like that. This is the band that kind of birthed them a little bit. They are reissuing the We Are the Romans record. It will be out November 4th. And on that reissue will be this new track. The name of this new track is 122. This is, so I kind of had heard clips before this, which is how I was aware it even existed. suggested. I finally sat down and actually listened to the song, and it was even better than I anticipated. Because at first, when you hear this in like just bits and pieces, it almost sounds like they softened up a little bit with age, which is a weird thing to say about Botch. Definitely not the actual case though, because this is a solid track. This is as glorious as I wanted it to be once I actually heard the whole thing all together. Wow. Yeah, the band has been very, very clear. There is not going to be a new record. There is not going to be other new tracks. Nothing new is in the cards yet. They speak rather definitively about this, but they did do a surprise live show out in New York just a couple of days ago, so maybe there's a little more of a spark there than they're willing to admit to, or at the very least willing to talk to the press about. So super excited about the re-release as for the We Are the Romans record, one of my favorite hardcore records of freaking all time, so absolutely worth your time to listen to. And this track specifically, I would wholeheartedly recommend this. So the thing about Botch and all of these subsequent bands that have come since Botch in this kind of hardcore, melodic, whatever the hell, math metal, whatever. This is music that people who are into difficult music love. And I wouldn't say necessarily you have to like heavy music to really appreciate Botch, though you should know they are very heavy. But it's more if you like difficult time signatures, difficult rhythm displacement, that kind of stuff. Again, think Converge, Dillinger Escape Plan, but also think some of the more experimental classical music that you might have heard. Adam Neely has a whole video on stuff like this that I think is case in point that this stuff has been popular since hundreds of years ago. So definitely worth a listen. Definitely, if you just want to expand your vocabulary, or if you just really like difficult stuff, like difficult to listen to jazz is a thing as well. If you like that kind of angular sounds, then you're going to love Botch. So that rounds us out to tours. Let's talk about tours. So starting things off again, we're at the end of the year, so music is a little bit interesting because not a whole lot of tours are starting right now. We do have some tours to talk about because now they're starting to announce new tours for 2023, but we also are in the holiday season, which means we're going to be getting some special shows, and one of the biggest of those special shows is the Christmas Burns Red show that August Burns Red headlines. This year it is 2 dates, December 16th and 17th. Obviously, August Burns Red will be headlining both days, doing some Christmas music, as well as just generally melting faces. But the reason that we're talking about this, because I believe we talked about it when it was originally announced, but they have filled out the lineup for these two shows. So let's talk about that real quick. So December 16th, again, these both shows are going to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I believe I said it incorrectly the first time, Lancaster. It will be Lancaster, Pennsylvania. December 16th, the bill will go as follows in reverse order. August Burns Red to headline, supported by Norma Jean, Silent Planet, Phinehas, Becoming the Archetype, and Earth Groans. Don't know who Earth Groans is, but they must be pretty good if August Burns Red has decided to put them on this bill. And then December 17th, again in reverse order, we have August Burns Red, Era, Shadow of Intent, Brand of Sacrifice, Invent Animate, and Convictions. Don't know who Invent Animate is, but they're over Convictions, so that's it. That's noteworthy. If you are interested in tickets, links can be found down below. This is sure to be 2 nights of phenomenal heavy music. Any night that features August Burns Red, let alone headlining August Burns Red, is going to be worth your time. So go check that out. Next, we are talking about He Is Legend, one of my favorite bands of the last couple of decades. He Is Legend with the new record coming out in November. They are going on tour with Valiant Thor. November 11th is the first date, starting in Wilmington, North Carolina, runs through November 21st in West Columbia, South Carolina. This is basically just them going all over the South, which sucks because that means I can't catch them, but I will if they ever announce a second leg to this tour. It is, again, the Endless Hallway record is out the first day of this tour, November 11th. Links can be found in the description if you want tickets. And then our final piece of new touring news has to do with a band that we haven't spoken of for some time, a band called Unsane. This is interesting, avant-garde. Not a whole lot of people know about the Unsane, but a lot more people should. This is definitely in the same vein as like a Neurosis kind of situation, post-metal, whatever the hell you want to call that. These guys rock, and I could not find who the supporting acts were, if they're even going on tour with supporting acts. Currently, they are on tour in the UK and Europe, but this is the American leg of this tour that they are currently on. So the American leg is going to begin February 6th in Albuquerque, New Mexico, runs through February 26th in Austin, Texas, and they are going kind of all over the states. So if you are into some unique post-metal that, again, think Neurosis, but a little more dead, then definitely go check out the Unsane if they're near your area. You can find, once again, links to tickets down in the description. Then let's talk about brand new news. First up, we have Baroness letting us know that they are going to be releasing a new record sometime in 2023. No exact date just yet, but John Baizley did an interview with Loudwire where he said specifically they plan on releasing new music and then touring, and then maybe a little bit of touring to follow that up. So that being said, new Baroness, super excited. If you want to see the full interview from which this announcement comes, you can find the link down in the description. Next up, we have Cyberpunk 2077 in the news. What? All right, so Cyberpunk is in music news because they are looking to expand their musical catalog for the game, and in so doing, they want you to submit your music. There's a link, you can find it down in the description. If you follow that link, they have a kind of a little clip that they want you to watch, and if your music you can say it has been inspired by said clip or would fit right alongside said clip, then they want you to submit, and they will release your music in the game with the upcoming DLC. The name of the DLC, once again, just in case you don't remember, Phantom Liberty, and it is going to be the only DLC for this game, aside from patches and, continuing to make the game function. This is going to be the only actual expansion to the game. So that's fairly significant. They didn't exactly say what genre they were looking for. They didn't exactly say how many submissions they were going to accept. They just said, basically, starting now up through November 30th, submit your music. If we like it enough, we're going to put it in the game, and you get to be featured in a game, and so people will know who you are, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty epic. And if you like the heavy stuff, they like the heavy stuff in Cyberpunk 2077. They have Converge and The Refused featured in the soundtrack already, so you would be in great company. I know I'm probably going to try and do something for this as well. So that's all we got on that piece. Let's move next into Chevelle doing something similar to Baroness, teasing new music in 2023. They have apparently written their entire next record. They just have to now go to the studio to record it, which means they've got probably, I would say, about 2 to 3 months worth of recording time and then another month of mastering. So we're looking at mid to late-ish 2023 before we see new music from Chevelle, though again, they didn't specify exactly when in 2023, just that it would be 2023. So that is all of our regular-ass news. Let's get now into music suggestions. We're going to stay on this Baroness train and suggest to you the Yellow and Green album. It is the double album from the Baroness, and it's just, this is one of my favorites. Not my absolute favorite, but it's definitely top 2 Baroness. My absolute favorite is Red album. Yellow and Green, though, is a little bit more solidly put together, a little more solidly produced, and a couple more tracks that are more recognizable to the stuff that they play these days. Those being Psalm Alive, Take My Bones Away, Back Where I Belong. Just honestly, the entire double album is solid set list through and through. So just put it on and let it play, and you will thank me later. Go listen to some Baroness this week. Now let's talk gaming. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.